Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, insert dad joke about fruit. Fruit Puff is a 6% fruited sour from Arvon Brewing Company in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I feel like Arvon's mostly known for just the sheer variety of IPAs and New England style IPAs that they brew and release, but they also do a lot of fruited sours and some stouts, which I've yet to get a hold of. But today I'm going to take a look at one of those fruited sours. This one is Fruit Puff. So let's stop with all the jibber jabber and check out what the can has in store. But first, I'd like to thank my executive producers Ryan Barry, Eric Latowski, Brian Kramer, Zach, and Cam Freeman for helping to bring this review to you today. If you'd like to become a producer, help out the channel, or maybe just buy me a beer, take a look at my Patreon at patreon.com/draft_therapy, where you can get early access to these videos, exclusive patron-only live streams, and a few other special perks available only to patrons. So, taking a look at the can here, I love the style of label design that Arvon does for these fruited sours. They're just very minimal. They're very striking. When you see them, you know it's Arvon. So Arvon, their logo on the top here, the three mountains with the trees, the different variety of trees in front, and a little state here, a little Great Lakes state that you might not notice. It says Arvon Brewing Company Fruit Puff. And if you turn it around to the spine of the label, it says Made in Michigan, Fruit Puff, 1 pint, 6% alcohol by volume, proudly brewed and canned by Arvon Brewing Company in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Kettle sour with berries, vanilla, graham cracker, and lactose. Keep cold, drink fresh. And then, of course, on the other side of the spine, it has all the deposit information and the government warning. I paid $5.39 for a single of this. Unfortunately, while they tell you to drink fresh, they don't give you a canned-on date. So, I'm fairly certain this is fresh. I picked this up like 2 days ago, literally 2 days ago, and it just hit the shelves. So, I'm going to grab the return of the Draft Therapy Tiku glass. If you're interested in a Draft Therapy Tiku glass, leave a comment down below. We can make that happen. And let's go ahead and crack this open and get a nose on the can. That was a big pop. That was loud. All right, let's put a nose on it. Yeah, whoa, I think I'm squeezing it a little bit too much. Getting a big berry aroma, blueberry, mixed berry. Let's go ahead and pour it. Whoa, that barely made it. I'm just going to pour it, folks. This is rising very quickly. It popped and it just started coming up the top. So I just kind of want to get it in the glass so it's not just pouring over in this glass or out of the can here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in a few seconds once this is settled down a little bit. We'll pour a little bit more. I have probably half the can still to go. This is a 14-ounce Tiku glass, so it shouldn't be that hard to get the whole thing in there, but we're going to give it a second and we'll let this time lapse go by a little bit, and then we'll pour a little bit more into the glass. All right, well, not much more has gone down. I just don't feel like we're going to get much more droppage in that head. And I didn't pour aggressively, but as you could tell, just from cracking it at the very beginning, it was already ready to come up. So we're just going to talk about it from here. I would suggest having like a yard glass to put this can into, I guess, if this is how it's going to be. So we're looking at about easily 3 fingers of head. Very, red, bit of a purple to it, very berry-looking head to it. It's very purple. I wasn't even able to explain what it looked like pouring, but as you can see, it's very purple. If we hold it up to the light, yeah, not seeing through that at all. Holding up to this front light, yeah, well, hold it up right there. Very purple. Again, no seeing through that. I do see a lot of bubbles kind of rising to the top. Maybe a bit of particulate, but it's hard to say. This head is like all over the place. There's some places around the bottom where the beer is kind of bubbling up, where it is very compact. Obviously, around the top, it is very porous. A lot of large bubbles, a lot of just popping bubbles here. So we're just gonna let it go, and I'm gonna put a nose on the glass here. I could barely put one on the can again. Very berry, a lot of blueberry aroma. I would say raspberry. Let's turn this can so you guys can see it a little bit better. What do they say here? They say berries, okay, vanilla, graham cracker, and lactose. It does have a tiny bit of lactose sweetness. I kind of thought maybe I was picking up lactose, but unless I read that, I wouldn't have known. So I'm just going to go ahead and try this. I'm sure I'm going to get it halfway on my face, but cheers. Wow. Very berry, very, very berry. It is like so berry. It's, how berry is it? It's definitely big time mixed berry. The mouthfeel is actually a little bit on the thicker side. It's not, if you've had any of the smoothie style beers, like if you've had a Smooj, or if you've had something like the Wax Wings, I picked up Pomona SCRM, I think is what the actual after part of it is. Those are very thick beers, and they're almost like, they're smoothie beers, right? So they have that very thick consistency. This is lighter than that. It's not anywhere near being that big kind of smoothie characteristic. As you can see, all the head, all the foam has kind of hung onto the glass, and it's almost like this fruit has hung onto the edge of the glass. It has, because of the lactose, I think it's because of lactose, it has a very big like mixed berry yogurt kind of flavor to it. For as thick and as almost borderline heavy it is, it's not overly sweet. Like, it's not super sweet. It has a lot of that berry flavor, but I also do taste a little bit of a vanilla. I almost said maple, but I'm not getting maple. A bit of a vanilla and a little bit of an essence of graham cracker. Not not overpowering graham cracker. I think the vanilla and the graham cracker mix so well together, those flavors, that you kind of pick up a little bit of that graham flavor, but you also pick up a little bit of that vanilla flavor. But with all the fruit and all the stuff going on, and all the, even the lactose and all that stuff, it's just not overly sweet. So I think in that respect, if you're looking for something that's more like a smoothie beer, this isn't what that is. It looks very much like a smoothie beer, and it has the lacing, excuse me, to match, but it's not super sweet, like it's not a sugar bomb like those are. So it's almost a little bit more of a, you think of a Smooj, or like I said, the Pomona from Wax Wings, as being something thicker, and maybe being something more of like a, you would never, you could drink that and mistake it for maybe not being a beer, or maybe not being alcoholic, just because it's so sweet and it's so thick and it has so many qualities to it. This one, while being at 6%, is very low alcohol, and I think it's silly to say low alcohol at 6%, because, again, being old school, that's kind of what I would think of back in the day as being like mid-range. But these days, 6% seems like it's nothing. But it tastes more like a beer than something like a Smooj does. And you'd have to forgive me for comparing it to Smooj, because they just look so similar, but you can kind of tell once you pour it, the viscosity of it, how the liquid kind of moves. It's not nearly, I'm kind of swirling it here just to kind of show the effect that it's not like a Smooj or a smoothie style beer. So you have to kind of, if you're going into this expecting you're going to get a smoothie style beer, you're going to be disappointed. But if you go expecting just to have a really kind of nice mild, it's not a mild berry flavor, but the berry flavor it tastes very much like berries. Like, it tastes very authentic. It doesn't have like an artificial taste to it. When I drink something, a beer with lactose, generally for me, I get like a bit of this kind of artificial bitterness, like the sweetener bitterness to it. Like if you have too much stevia in your coffee, or sweet and low, I guess, you get that kind of, there's that artificial sweetener bitterness. This doesn't have that. I almost feel like the lactose adds to more of this yogurty kind of mouthfeel, or flavor that's in there. I just feel like it's almost like you're drinking a Dannon yogurt, but you're not getting the thickness, that kind of thickness of it. That being said, if you're in the mood for a smoothie style beer, I don't think that this is what you should be picking up. But if you're looking for something that is a little bit sweet, but not too sweet, has a nice kind of bite to it, but it's not overly, alcoholic, and you can have a couple of these and still have a good time. I think Fruit Puff from Arvon is a good beer for that. But if you're looking for something more like a smoothie, like a Smooj, I think you should probably just stick with Smooj. All right, friends, that has been Fruit Puff from Arvon Brewing Company. Have you had any of Arvon's beers before? Maybe you prefer their fruited sours, or maybe their IPAs, or have you had any of their stouts? Still waiting for that stout. So let me know in the comments down below while you're down there. If you like beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell, because I'm here talking about beer twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's all for free for viewers just like you, and you might miss your newest favorite if you're not subscribed and getting those notifications. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries, and most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. See you next time, everybody. Cheers.